Okay, I promised to do a talk about epilepsy. Um, I hope I can do it because every time I've tried to do it, I've been interrupted. So hopefully, I'll be able to get through a little bit of part of it. And like I say, it's not all woe me. Okay, the first time I had a seizure, it was on a school trip going to the south of France. Now, I was age 13. I woke up in the back of a French ambulance. I hadn't got a clue where I was, what was going on, because I'd never had one before. Then they took me into the hospital. The teacher left, so I was in a French hospital, rubbish at French, had a seizure, hadn't got a clue, didn't even know what they were. And then the next minute I know, they're taking me for something called an EEG scan, where they put all these electrodes over your head, right? And then they start flashing a strobe light in front of your face, like slowly at first, then they'll tell you to close your eyes, open your eyes, close them, and it gets faster and faster. I don't know whether they're trying to bring a seizure on or whatever, I just don't know, but it's a weird sensation. And I was in that hospital for 4 days on a school trip, and we only went away for 7. So you can imagine that was a fantastic school trip for me. The first time I'd had a seizure. Then obviously get back to England, and I have to see an epileptic specialist. I'm sorry, but I'm still so stupid about when I mention his name. His name was Dr. Christopher Mann. But when you do write his name down and you do Dr. C. Mann, I could not help but just calling him Dr. Seaman. Even now it makes me laugh. It's so stupid and immature, but that's what I am. I'm the man that knows nothing, but I have views. I didn't really understand what he was going on about, because specialists expect you to know what they know, and you just don't. And it did take a year to get me to see him. So I was 14 by that time. I'd had a few more seizures, obviously. I do suffer from all 3 types of seizures. There's something called the grand mal, which is the worst one as such. Then you have the petit mal, which is not as strong as the grand mal. And then in the middle, you have something called a semi-complex seizure, which is so strange. I'll just talk about the grand mal. That's the one where you drop to the floor and your muscles, body goes rigid, shakes, you'll bite through your tongue, you'll bang your head, you'll come around with bruises all over your face, on your arms and legs, especially at first when nobody knows what's going on and how to help you. Now, I'm going to go on to the third one, which is a patty mal. Now, that's not bad at all. You can cope with that. It's okay. But sometimes you just wish it turned into a grand mal, because you keep thinking you're going to collapse and have one. So, it probably is just as bad, but mentally bad. Now let's get on to the semi-complex seizure. This is the most weirdest one in the world. Right, it's very hard to explain. I could be talking normally to you. You wouldn't know I was actually having one of these semi-complex seizures till I came out with something weird. Which, I mean, I can be like just walking along the road, walking up the street, go to a cash point. I've done this many times. Put my card in. Don't even know, put my card in. Just left it there, and it's taken me money as per normal. Now, I've done this quite a few times. I mean, at Barclays Bank that I used to bank in, they knew me for the amount of cards I had lost. They were ever so good though. I mean, they were really, really fantastic with me. But sadly, it's closed down now. So I have to go up to a place called Hanley, which is further away. The staff don't know me. They don't know my situation. So it's a little bit more difficult dealing with them. But luckily, with the app on my phone, which is great, which comes in so useful because I always forget my PIN number, which is terrible. I mean, there's so many things that can happen in a semi-complex seizure. Now, here's a little bit of a funny story for you. I ended up getting bronchitis and pneumonia once. And I also got sepsis as well, blood poisoning. And I was in hospital for 4 days, going on heavy antibiotics. The doctors came round and said what I had, and then they said, "Oh, by the way, we found a 2p trapped at the side of your stomach." And I'm thinking, a 2p? How on earth have I swallowed a 2p? I mean, have you seen the size of a 2p? I mean, they did get it out, obviously, but they just said it in such a way that it was like a joke to them. But to me, I was thinking, have I been going around in semi-complex seizures, eating money? I mean, this is just like completely ridiculous. I mean, a 2p though. Every time I think about it, but thing is, I can't remember it. I don't know. I don't know how I did it. I mean, I've had arguments with my mother. We've been watching the same TV program, and I'm having a semi-complex seizure, and I'm watching a different program to her in a way. And I've had arguments with her about it, about parts that have happened in it, and they haven't at all. So now I know this. I just get on with it, and I believe my mum. Whatever she says happens in the program. I've watched quiz shows with her, and I can't remember I even watched the quiz show last week. And it's just crazy sometimes, but I have to laugh because if I didn't, I would cry. I mean, yeah, there's been some bad times. I mean, from the age of 13 onwards, I did want to join the army. I even went into the army careers officer knowing that I wouldn't get in the army. But I just had to do it for myself, I mean, I wanted to work. I always did. I mean, I had to lie to work. I mean, I didn't want to claim benefits, even though I didn't even know I could claim benefits. But that's a different story. If I didn't lie about having epilepsy, I wouldn't get the job. which is wrong. Now, if I told them, I wouldn't get the job. I think I said that the wrong way round. If I didn't tell them I'd got epilepsy, I would get the job. And if I told them I had epilepsy, I wouldn't get the job. So there's a bit of discrimination going on there. But I can understand health and safety, all these things. Just say I fell on somebody and hurt them. The amount of time I'd have to have off work to recover also from having a seizure. There's all these sorts of things. I mean, I did manage to work for some time by lying. It's possibly wrong, but I wanted to work. I didn't want to be stuck at home. That's like I am now. I'm stuck at my flat. I was married, but my wife died. Don't worry, it's not oh me again. No, I'm just explaining. I mean, she used to help me out a real lot. I mean, she saved my life a few times, and I will always be thankful for that. It's such a shame she died at an early age. Yeah, it affects me a little bit now, but I still haven't mourned over the loss of her. She really did help me out, all the things she did for me, I could never repay, never ever. I mean, sometimes she helped me to get dressed, because I've also got like pins in my back. I had a trapped sciatic nerve, so they made my sciatic tract a little bit larger because it was too thin for the sciatic nerve to run down. So they also put pins in my back as well. So I find it hard to bend down, even to do my shoelaces. I can't hold heavy weights for a long time. I can't even use a paintbrush anymore. It's such a God, I can't even say the word. We'll just say I can't do it. I've gone off the subject there a little bit, haven't I? We're talking about epilepsy. Now, where was I? I was explaining, about Dr. Seaman. Yes, he was brilliantly just funny to me at that age. And I'm sorry, he's still funny to me now. The drugs they put me on, well, if you think I've had epilepsy for 37 years, think about the different types of drugs I've been on. I mean, all they do is they increase the dosage of the drug until you stop having the seizures. Which is crazy in a way. I mean, some of these drugs are very powerful and quite, quite dangerous. I mean, I was on this drug called Capra. All they did was they kept increasing it. When I went for a review once, they were shocked to find out how much I was on. Basically, I was on 4.5 grams of Capra a day. Now, that's a lot. It is a high dose, especially for the age I was when I was taking it. But then they just whipped that away from me, put me on something else, which, I tried that failed. All the drugs have failed so far. Now, the only drugs that have worked, but they will never put me on them because they just didn't believe me. I mean, it's so wrong. I had a doctor in Ashley. He was fantastic. He put me on diazepam and temazepam. It was only 5 milligrams of diazepam and I think it was a 20 milligram temazepam at night. And for 2 years, I never had a seizure. Then all of a sudden, I moved, they took me off them drugs, and my seizures started all over again, getting worse and worse and worse. Like I say, the amount of times I bit through my tongue, it's the worst pain ever. I mean, if you ever see anybody having an epileptic fit, don't put your hands in their mouth, because they will bite your fingers off. Now, that's not an exaggeration, that is the truth. I mean, it sounds quite gruesome, but they used to try and put a spoon in your mouth, and then that would destroy your teeth. So, it's either destroy your tongue or your teeth. Now, I've bitten that many times down the side of my tongue that I've lost sensation in my taste buds. I mean, over the years, which I'll get into in the next part, the amount of injuries I've suffered from, and the stupid things I've done, and, I'm still here, I'm still coping. I mean, it was nice for my mum to know my wife was living with me, and if anything happened, she knew how to deal with it. She knew if she had to call an ambulance or not, because you don't have to all the time. But if the seizure lasts for over 5 minutes, then you have to call an ambulance. I mean, I've gone blue, my lips have gone blue, and I suppose that's quite dangerous. But I've always been okay, and I always had to tell the ambulance drivers, sorry, I don't want to go to the hospital, I'm okay now, I'm alright, I don't want to, take a bed up, and all things like that. But they always insist, and I feel that I shouldn't be there, because I have now sort of recovered. If I've got somebody to help me get home, then I'm okay. I have signed a lot of those forms when the ambulance people have come, to say that I'm not going to go to the hospital. I felt as though I wasted the ambulance people's times, the paramedics' times. I mean, they've been fantastic with me. I cannot fault them. Our NHS service is like the best. I mean, the amount of times they've come out to me and helped me, it's unbelievable. I can't thank them enough, and the specialists, especially Dr. Seaman. Once again, I'm smiling when I say his name. He was a very serious man. No, and me being young and immature, and I still probably am, I could not help but laugh, because he was just very serious. I'm probably going to have to stop here now. This may have to be a 3-part one, actually, because I've been talking for 20 minutes. I didn't even realise that. I hope you do listen to the other two. Please press the button that subscribes you to my channel, because that will help me out a lot. Just please, it'll take you 1 second to do, and then you know when I'll be putting up podcasts. I hope they will be getting better, because the first few I did when I reviewed them, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. But please just press that button, subscribe to my channel, and you'll get all the contents that I bring out. So thank you just for listening to me, and I think this will be a 3-parter. Okay, take care now, and just remember, I am the man that knows nothing, but I have views. Take care, people. Thank you very much.